Welcome back. Now let us see what is try-catch mechanism. So if you have aware of any other programming language, then you should be obviously know about this because that is a common terminology used in all languages. So you write a code and when you think the code may fail, but you don't want test case to stop when you come across that failure, then you can wrap that specific code which you think that it will fail in try block, so that when exception is raised in the try block, your test will be sent into another block called catch. Okay, so this will not fail if you don't wrap your failure code in try block, and when you run the test, obviously your test will fail. But if it is now in try block, it won't fail. It will raise an exception and send control back to catch block. In catch block, you can write statements like what is an error or why do you reach that specific block with a proper logging. Let me tell you one example so that you will have a better picture. Right. So for that, I would take one example where I have discussed read and write files. Um, Let me take this. First of all, let's start a block called try. So this is one of the exception reserved keyword, and make sure you put colon and code indentation starts from here. Okay. What happened? This did not copy. Okay. So we are opening the file, but this time I would give some random file called file.log. Okay, this file do not exist at all. Okay, there is only one file called test.txt, but file log do not exist. So I'm asking to open this file name with file log. Okay, and I am reader dot, I would just read it for now. So what happens when I run this code? It will obviously fail because there is no file called file log. So first of all, I would run this code without using try block, and let's see how does it behaves. Right, your test is failed because there is no such file or directory. But if you don't want to fail your test and simply catch this exception, and that case you can use try block. Try block will actually help you to get the error, but it won't fail the test. It will send its control to another block whenever it sees failure in try block. That block is nothing but except. So in Python, instead of catch, we use except. In Java, C Sharp, and C++, we use a keyword called catch. But in Python, we will use keyword called except. That means exception, the shortcut. So this tells that there is an exception raised in try block, and control will immediately come to this block without failing. Okay. So here I can write a statement that print somehow I reached this block because there is failure in try block. Right. So let's run this one more time. You see that there is no failure this time. It still failed, but as I said, control of try, whenever it sees failure, sent to exception block. That's why this got printed. Somehow I reached this block because there is failure. Now let me give the actual test. And run this. What happens? This time there is no error here because our code is correct. So that's why the control did not even go to this block itself. Okay, it will go to this block only whenever it sees failure, and this time we fixed our failure, so it's not going. Okay, so you might be wondered why would I use and where would I use these kind of scenarios, but there is a lot of scope. Now for example, when you land in a page where pop-up comes or it may not come, so there is uncertainty when you actually hit one website. Sometimes you will see the pop-up immediately when you land on the page, and sometimes you don't see it. Okay, so you write a code saying handle the pop-up using your automation code, but as I said, sometimes you might won't see as well. At that time, when you try to handle or close the pop-up, when pop-up even not exist, your test will fail, right? So if you remove it, sometimes pop-up may display and you don't have a code. At that time, what you will do, you will write that pop-up handling code in try block. If pop-up is there, then it's well and good, it handles it. If pop-up is not there, you don't want to fail the test. Okay, because that may or may not come. In that case, you put it in try block so that if pop-up is not present and if your script trying to click a pop-up, then you will get error, and automatically as you have wrapped in try block, it will simply come to except block, and here you can tell that as pop-up is not present, skipping that execution. That's it. So test will not fail, it will keep on continuing. Okay, so this is one of the scenario where you can use try catch block, or sorry, try except block, because you know that even if it is not present, that should not interrupt your test. Okay, so that is one example where you can use try and except block. Now, so here you are writing your customized exception message, but if you want to really know the message of what Python throws an error. So right now here, when you give wrong code, Python have given us error saying file not present. That's what Python gives us. Okay, now for example, if I run this code outside the try block, let me show you. Here it will not fail because when you write inside, it will obviously catch. So I'll run this test again, but the error what you are seeing is because of this block, as it is not in try. Okay, because the file name is different, so no such file or directory. So this is an error what Python told us about the error on line number 13. Okay, so if you don't give this, you are getting an exception, but you are not knowing actual error what Python is giving us, right? You are printing your customized message which you wrote in except block. Okay, now if you run this again, it still failed, but you are getting your customized message. But what if you want to know the exception what Python thrown instead of you printing your own messages? How can you do that? So for that I would create one more block. So let's say it would throw error again, but here I would give another way to catch the error what Python thrown us. So you should say except exception E. So basically when there is an error, exception as, when there is an error in try block, the message what Python have will be sent to this E variable in except block, and here instead of giving your customized message, you can print that E variable, because you are referring that exception what try caught here as one E variable. Okay, that's how you are catching the complete error what Python have. Okay, this is a reference variable to the actual exception, and once it is stored in it, and when you print this, so this time it will still pass the test, but it will show the error what Python actually caught, but that won't interrupt your test fail. Let me run this test, and now you see that in the first try except block we were printing customized exception message, which is somehow I reached this block because there is failure. But we don't know what is exact failure. That could be a number of reasons, right? But in second block, we clearly know the failure reason. It's because no such file is present. This is what Python thrown us. We have smartly caught that exception in our except and we are printing that. But you see that there is no failure, exit code 0. That means there is no fail in test. Whatever failures we got, everything we are smartly catching into except block without failure. And I have already explained you in what scenarios we use in real time as well. Okay, in pop-up handling or many cases.